YouTubers are a unique bunch of people. We create entertainment for people to consume and attempt to foster a much more personal relationship with the people who watch our videos than a traditional entertainer would. For the most part, YouTubers are fairly harmless, sincere, and generally appreciative of that connection. But sometimes, YouTubers who have a dedicated fanbase willing to hang on their every word and action take advantage of that. Oliver Harper is an English YouTuber who has carved a niche out by giving detailed descriptions of Wikipedia pages for movies, music, and games. He's fairly well liked and respected, and his videos gather a decent amount of views. And he has a dedicated fanbase who are ready to put their support behind him both socially and financially. He's also a bit of a liar and a con man. Got your attention? Good. Well, let's take a look at what I'm talking about. Ollie began from fairly humble roots on YouTube, creating a channel to discuss his love of movies. His videos are always well structured and edited, and he's a master at using long clips from movies in the first 5 minutes to keep you watching. He goes into intricate detail, often covering not just a movie but soundtracks, video games, and all other associated Wikipedia pages as well. This helped take his small channel into one which has over 160,000 subscribers. His somewhat detail-centric approach to reviewing movies and his geographical proximity to some of the filming locations for the universally loved and critically acclaimed Superman 4 led to him making his own mini-documentary about the locations that he had access to. It's actually pretty good. It's informative and well-paced. It's just a shame it's about one of the shittest movies of all time. Anyway, this documentary, like I said, was pretty good, and went down well on his channel, with many of his viewers appreciating his mind for detail. The video racked up over 50,000 views and stood as an interesting novelty on his channel, as it was pretty different to all of his other videos. It also demonstrated that with the right tools, he was more than capable of creating an interesting documentary. Then in May of 2018, Oliver announced that he would be raising funds to make another documentary, this time about the history of the action movie genre. His method of funding would be popular website Kickstarter. The initial pitch was that he wanted £15,000 to back his project, which he would use to secure locations, equipment, and possibly interviews with the actors who were involved in making some of the movies that he would be talking about. Depending on their level of investment, backers would be treated to a variety of rewards once the project was complete. These ranged from a £10 pledge, which got you a social media shout-out and nothing more, all the way up to an eye-watering £3,500, which secured you an executive producer credit, a digital download, some posters and postcards signed by Ollie, the DVD, the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray would be a point of contention, but we'll come back to this later. On June 29th, he announced that they'd reached the halfway funding point of the project. At this time, there was generally a lot of excitement about the project, and fans continued to show support to Ollie and this project, and donations continued to spill in. The donations came in so thick and fast that he actually collected over £40,000 and overshot his original funding goal by 25k. Not too shabby. Then on July 14, 2018, after reaching the campaign goal, he announced he would be moving over to Indiegogo to raise more funding, setting a new goal at £100,000. The project promised that extra funding raised would be put towards attempting to secure interviews with people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Michael Biehn, and Richard Donner, among many others. By October 2018, he announced that they'd begun interviewing some of those classic 80s beefcake action megastars that became so synonymous with that decade, giving fans the opportunity to see one-on-one interviews with the 80s titans who had touched them as children. Then on November 2018, Oliver announced that the primary photography had been completed and the project was in post-production, with a delivery target of April 2019. By all accounts, the project genuinely sounded exciting for everyone involved. I myself was pretty interested to see how it would turn out, though I should add that I wasn't a backer because I was dirt poor. Anyway, he made and released the documentary and everyone received their goodies and the movie got great reviews. All in all, everyone was very happy and nobody felt any sort of dissatisfaction whatsoever. You thought this was a video essay? It ain't. Before I get started on the meat of this video, I want to talk about the tiers for this campaign. Because this is some of the craziest bullshit I've ever seen. £10 for a fucking shout out on social media? Do people really dig these YouTuber shout outs on social media? You're a fucking YouTuber, man. You're not curing cancer. I'd say 50 quid wasn't a crazy enough price to pay for a couple of posters and a Blu-ray, but then the jump from 50 to 100 only includes 2 extra things. A t-shirt and a copy of the soundtrack. Do you honestly believe that a t-shirt and a copy of the soundtrack is worth 50 fucking quid? I used to print and make my own t-shirts and sell them on eBay, and I can tell you it takes about £7 or £8 to buy in the stock, print the t-shirt, and send it out to the customer. So that sure as shit ain't costing you 50 quid. So that means that you're actually valuing the soundtrack at 50 quid, or close to it. Oh, well, excuse me all the hell, I didn't realize that something being signed by a fucking YouTuber was worth so much fucking money. Is your ego so enormous that you genuinely believe that when you put your fucking signature on a CD case, you gave it value? Luckily, there weren't any takers for the £3,500 tier, but there were 2 unlucky souls who paid £1,500 for it, and if you don't have sympathy for them by the end of this video, then you're a bigger piece of shit than I am. Throughout this project, there's been a couple of things which were, at best, misleading and more probably just flat-out lies. An optimist might say that the second campaign was set up because of a massive fan response and you just wanted to put all that extra money to good use. But when it comes to YouTubers securing finances from their fan base, I'm not really an optimist. Now, some people might say it's a bit misleading that some of the names originally attached to the project aren't in the movie. You should probably have removed these guys once it was clear that they'd said no, not leave it on the Kickstarter page right until the very end. Why the hell did you do that? In fact, I don't think that a single one of the people on this poster appeared in the fucking movie. But I get it. Putting a poster out there with the guy who Batman dropped off a building, Vernon Wells, and Genghis Khan from Bill and Ted really doesn't have the same pop as Arnie and Friends. So I'm going to give you a pass on that one because actors are notoriously difficult to pin down. They skip and dodge interviews all the time. I don't think that one's your fault. That's not misleading. The misleading part is the fact that you started a second campaign at all.
So don't worry, we've moved over to Indiegogo In Demand, a platform only available for successfully funded Kickstarters.
No, it's not. I was highly dubious of this second campaign the minute that I figured out that you had one. Because to me, it smelled exactly like a cash grab from someone who had underestimated just how gullible he thought his audience really was, and decided to milk them some more. Why have the second campaign at all when you collected 250% of the budget from your first campaign? You clearly didn't need the money. And what's worse is you were still aggressively pushing this first campaign right up until it ended.
As you may be aware, the Kickstarter will be finishing in just under 24 hours. If you haven't pledged yet, please go check it out and see what items there.
Why?
Many people got in touch after our Kickstarter had ended, asking to see if they could still pledge and get access to our amazing rewards.
And on that I would agree. I think that's a good idea. The only problem is you didn't tell anybody that you were going to do that. You made everybody think that this first campaign, the Kickstarter campaign, was their last and only chance to donate money to this thing. You know, you were doing the fucking George Lucas thing.
The original version of Star Wars on video. Buy it before it's gone forever.
Available individually for a limited time, only on DVD.
Where the Kickstarter will be finishing in just under 24 hours. We've moved over to Indiegogo In Demand.
I think one or two possibilities is probably true for this. Either you knew this wasn't the last chance that they could contribute because you had another campaign ready to go just 10 days later, and you didn't want to tell anyone because you wanted to exploit that fear of missing out. Or you didn't know that there would be another campaign, and despite collecting 250% of your original budget, you realized that you could squeeze more songs out of this canary. And so you decided to take advantage of your fans' generosity. Put your fucking pitchforks down, Ollie fans, all right? I get it. I know it's not just a donation and that the backers get a whole bunch of delicious goodies in exchange for remortgaging their house. How can you possibly be milking them if they're all getting this great stuff, right? I mean, whose balls wouldn't tingle at the prospect of shelling out £100 in exchange for a standard definition DVD, some promotional material, a t-shirt, and a shout out on fucking Twitter? But Lee, you forgot about the Blu-ray! No, I didn't forget about the Blu-ray. Unlike Ollie. Now, I know you might say that it was a genuine spur-of-the-moment thing, in which you genuinely wanted to put the extra money that your fans had generously threw in your face to good use, which we'll show is complete falsehood later. And that's why you created this extra campaign on Indiegogo.
We've moved over to Indiegogo In Demand, a platform only available for successfully funded Kickstarters.
This is a bit misleading because of how you phrase it. Indiegogo, the platform, is available to anyone at any time, with or without a successful Kickstarter. Indiegogo On Demand isn't some super special thing reserved only for top projects that are already awesome. It's just a simple way to move a campaign from one platform that's already finished onto Indiegogo and carry on collecting money. The reason that I think you did this is so that when the inevitable question came about why you were still collecting money for a project which you'd already funded 2.5 times already, you would have the perfect excuse. Oh, this is just what everyone does. It's clever to preempt it in this way, but it's also incredibly dishonest. But let's pretend that all this was just bad planning or happenstance, and you never intentionally attempted to mislead people in order to get their money. When I was researching this, there was a figure that stood out to me. Yeah, isn't that weird? You closed the campaign early, even though you still had £1,000 left to collect. Why would you do that? Because if you closed the campaign early, then all those people that wanted to buy and contribute couldn't get their hands on all those wonderful, wonderful rewards that we were just looking at, the things that you harp on about in those trailers that you shoehorn into every one of your videos for about 4 months before and after. And also, we know that you're an advocate of FOMO, so why not keep the campaign open? Let people carry on donating, and then you can also collect more money. And we'll get to that in a second. But first, we need to talk about the final product. So now, I'm not going to give you shit for taking longer than a glue-sniffing George R. R. Martin to deliver the final product. This is filmmaking, you know, I'm not an idiot. Filmmaking always has delays. There's always things that hold it up, and there's always things that need redoing. You know, your customers, based on the complaints that I read, clearly didn't understand the way the film industry works and how difficult it is to get a full project together. I do, which is why I'm going to give you a pass on this one too. This isn't your fault. I'm entirely on your side on that one. What is absolutely indefensible, however, is the product that you actually sent out to people. In the tiers for both campaigns, you told people that they would get a rolled up poster, which you touted as a collector's item. That's why you signed some of them, right? And to save money on postage, you turned a supposed collector's item into origami. You promised them this, and then you sent them this. This is literally less worthless than the paper it's printed on. In fact, because it's printed on glossy paper as well, people can't even use it for toilet roll. It's literally not good enough to wipe their ass with. As a collector of physical media, I'm pretty sure you knew this was a shit idea. But Lee, it's just a poster. It doesn't matter. Yeah, a poster that some people paid upwards of £100 for. But again, let's try to be fair and say yes, you are correct. The poster isn't the attraction of this project. The movie is. We're getting there, don't worry. Here's something interesting. You told customers they had to buy the more expensive package if they wanted subtitles after they had already bought it, and also told them no refunds. I guess since you have to pay extra for subtitles, that makes them a perk? Well, if you consider being able to actually understand the movie that you just paid 20 fucking quid for as a perk. Who the fuck charges extra for subtitles? That's a move so fucking greedy that I bet the head of EA is sat there right now furiously scribbling this idea down to take to next quarter's business proposals. Now you might think that making subtitles is both expensive and difficult, right? But it's not. It's actually very easy and it's completely free. In fact, it's so easy that it'll take me about 30 seconds to show you right now. So first thing, you take your subtitles. I'm going to use the subtitles from The Crow since I've ripped this recently. And then you go over to a website called translatesubtitles.com/subtitle translator/index.php. You take your SRT file in your current language. Then what you do is you tell it which language you want to translate it to, and it'll translate it to you to whatever. I've just translated this to Portuguese, and it is literally taking 25 seconds. That's how quick and easy it could have been. Now, will they be perfect? No, they're not going to be perfect because Google Translate isn't perfect, but they're going to be close enough that someone will be able to understand what the movie is talking about. And it's definitely going to be better than give me more money or learn English, you foreign prick. Just to clarify, that last part was a joke. They didn't give someone the ultimatum of coughing up more money or learning English. They insinuated it. They also didn't call him a prick. I just used that word for comedic effect because I thought it would make this gag funnier. Eric, if you managed to watch this video for whatever reason, then feel free to drop me a message, leave a comment down in the comment section or send me a tweet on Twitter. I'll be happy to send you the full translated subtitles in whatever language you want for free. So let's have a quick recap. By being deliberately misleading or incompetent, you raised almost 100 grand, which you didn't need to spend on major stars because, as we've already established, you didn't get any major stars. You then didn't bother to issue subtitles on the digital release and sent posters and postcards, which looked like Jake Paul had been making origami while in the middle of a seizure. So I'm guessing then that second campaign, the one that took you up to 100 grand, you must have used all that money to give everybody high quality DVDs and Blu-rays when the project was finished, right? Now, if you thought that was bad, that is nothing compared to the elbow deep fisting that your customers got next. There were over 250 pieces of feedback left on the 2 pages Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I know because I read and screen capped all of them, with customer after customer saying that while they paid for a high quality pressed Blu-ray, what they got was a shoddy, low quality Chinese knockoff that didn't work. They ordered this, and you gave them this. Dude, I don't even know what you were thinking. I like to think that you were just ahead of the curve here, and you knew that people were going to pirate your movie at some point, so you decided to create your own shitty Chinese bootleg instead. Rather than make some jokes about this particular section of the video, I'm actually just going to read you some of the complaints that people left, because I think they speak for themselves. Hey, just wanted to check on my poster replacement. Last heard it was supposed to be sent out last month. Now it's almost April. Just checking. I also got a folded up poster that is in pretty bad shape a while back. Still hasn't been sorted. This is 1 month ago. Still hasn't been sorted. I just want undamaged posters and the missing DVD, please. Love the poster. Super excited to put it up. But it was folded and mushed and frankly doesn't look presentable. I also received the damaged poster, but I still haven't bent up and damaged due to being in at almost 30 bucks. I would hate to have such an awesome poster all messed up. Now these people were pretty lucky. That's just a few of the Kickstarter complaints. If we head over to Indiegogo, these are where the juiciest complaints are. And that wasn't exhaustive, by the way. There was over 160 on there. I just didn't want to read you all the complaints.
Blu-ray that just got released on Amazon this week. However, it does appear to be some sort of 80s synth music there, right? And I'm assuming this is the menu, but how can I play the movie?
I just sent an email to you, but wanted to make sure you got it. I have been working for a month or longer to get this disc to play. It won't play on my DVD, Blu-ray or computer. The beginning gets frozen. Then when I get it to play several minutes in, it skips and freezes. It is unwatchable. Oh, and then this guy says underneath that, Creator VC and Oliver Harper don't care. See my post a few below yours. I even called out Oliver on Instagram to comment, and he ignored me. Now the reviews are a bit better on Amazon from the UK, where I'm guessing you have plenty of friends to help you out. So let's read a couple of those. In Search of the Last Action Heroes is a crowdfunded documentary from YouTuber Oliver Harper, and is very much a by the fans for the fans film. With numerous and notable talking heads, Harper's movie takes us through the action genre. This is a long ass review, I'm going to skip this one. But it's a positive review. It's a very positive review. It's 5 stars. Next one is a 4-star review. Largely the same. It doesn't mention anything about the quality of the actual discs or the products. He largely comments just on the film. Same again, another 5-star review, talking solely about the film and not about the actual products that were sent out to people. And another one, 5-star review. Wow, all these 5-star reviews are making me think that maybe the people on Indiegogo, the 250 or so of them, really, they were lying. They must have been lying. Oh no, wait. Because if you were an international buyer of this movie on Amazon, you got shafted just like the backers on Indiegogo did. Do not buy this Blu-ray. It is defective and will not allow you to access anything past the so-called menu. The poster logo shows up playing some 80s synth music and that's it. No play, no scene selection, no settings, no nothing. I have restarted the player and reinserted the Blu-ray several times and nothing. It just remains at this screen while the music loops. I have ordered a replacement Blu-ray which hopefully does not have the same issue. This one's a 3-star review from the United States. This documentary is very entertaining. The only downside is it's burned onto a BDR and not released onto a professionally pressed disc. 2-star. I've seen higher quality bootlegs. I'll admit this one makes me laugh. I own bootlegs that are higher quality than this Blu-ray release. Even the main menu is problematic and barely functional. I also noticed that the video quality suffered towards the end of the documentary. Probably because of the shitty Chinese discs that you used, Oliver. Thankfully, I didn't pay as much as the backers of the documentary did, though. As for the documentary itself, it's decent, blah, blah, blah. He goes on to talk about how the documentary is actually pretty decent, but the medium that it was sent out on was fucking poor. 1 star. This documentary is great, but this is the second time I've ordered a Blu-ray and been sent a cheap BDR. I used to work in a sales office, and one thing that they used to say was that with every mistake comes an opportunity to win over the customer with your brilliant customer service. I'm sure that's exactly what you did, right? I'm sure you had very attentive customer service and you tried to fix everybody's problems to a satisfactory resolution. See, most companies, when they've sent out a product that doesn't work, a completely different quality product than was originally promised, they will then replace it with the good quality product that does work. But Ollie, I know that you're a man of principle, and I know that you went out of your way to piss these people off some more. Because you decided the best solution to pissing people off with Chinese bootlegs was more Chinese bootlegs. So this guy says, well, I haven't received my replacement Blu-ray as of yet, but reading the comments that you're sending out BDRs once again, instead of pressed high-quality industry standard discs is highly disappointing to say the least. This guy then follows up to say, don't bother sending me another BDR if that's what you're going for again. I've already thrown away the previous shoddy disc because it wouldn't play. Very disappointed in the response from the email about the replacement being another BDR. Regarding the disc, replacement discs are high quality BDR. This is an email back from their company. Replacement discs are high quality BDRs. So you sent out BDRs and you just got the replacement and it was once again a cheap BDR with no poster replacement. I received my replacement disc today. And it was also a BDR, which is funny since I was told it would be a pressed disc in the email below. So I received my replacement BR, and guess what? It's still pressed on a BDR disc. Seriously, what is going on? We'll read this entire string because Oliver then replies by saying, "Hi Andrew, because we had a relatively low number to replace, I can fucking guarantee you it wasn't. You have to have a minimum of 1,000 discs to get replicated. We had nowhere near that number, and only duplication was available in BDR." He replies by saying, "Firstly, you never sent out silver-pressed replicated discs at all. The first batch of BDRs from China. Secondly, it's not my problem that you didn't have enough discs to get replicated. You should have stated this before people ordered anything from you. Due to both these reasons, I would like a refund as the product I have received is not as described. £30 for a BDR is a joke." Your reply, Oliver, to one of your fans who graciously backed your project so you didn't have to put your own money in, your reply was, "I'm sorry you feel that way. So you're not sorry that you fucked up his fucking order. You're not sorry that you missold him something completely. You're sorry that he feels that way. That's a sorry not sorry, Oliver. and it's not fucking good enough. But your contribution helped produce our critically acclaimed documentary, which has been a huge success. I'm sure he feels great that you've got all this critical acclaim and all this money, and he's got the long fucking shaft straight up his asshole. I'm sure he's buzzing off that fact, Oliver. Jesus Christ, could you be more condescending to him? The industry has moved to MOD, manufacturing on demand, and the Blu-ray replacements are perfect. This is important. He says Blu-ray replacements. Firstly, you didn't sell people a Blu-ray. You advertised it, but you didn't sell it to them. We don't offer refunds. And I hope you enjoy the film. How the fuck is he meant to enjoy the film, Oliver? You sent him a disc that doesn't work, as he's told you in the email. And that's just piss poor, if you ask me. Piss poor. Now for your next move, Ollie, I have to applaud you. It's actually the smartest thing that you did. It isn't the most honest, but it is the smartest. When people complain a second time because the replacement is still the same shitty Chinese bootleg of your own fucking product, which doesn't work and gets stuck in people's PS4s and ruins them, like this guy, another one of your fans, Ollie. What do? You move all the complaints off of the very public platform, Indiegogo and Kickstarter, where people can see and warn each other not to buy your shitty product. No, you move them all off there and you tell everybody to go to a totally different website, deal with totally different people in a situation which is confusing. Even though it would be simpler, easier and more efficient to deal with the complaints where they are. Because that's what people are used to. That's where they spoke to you. And this is obviously a tactic that paid off for you, because a lot of these people got so confused that they actually just gave up. They just threw the shit in the bin and chalked it up to a bad experience. Bravo. Did you read about this move in The Art of the Deal? Because this is a move so equal in its brilliance and shiftiness that it has to have been invented by Donald Trump. Oh yeah, I said we were going to come back to this number. Why would you end your campaign early? This really bothered me for a long time. I don't like stuff bothering me. If I see a mystery or puzzle, I have to do my best to fix it and solve it. It's just who I am. So when I noticed that you ended the campaign early, despite already showing that you were more than happy to take people's money, it really bothered me, because I kept thinking, well, why the hell would you do this? It was actually one of your own customers who solved this riddle for me. Now, even I was skeptical when I read this, because I thought, surely this can't be the real reason why the campaign was ended early. Nobody is that dodgy and shifty. But sure enough, I checked the Indiegogo refund policy, and it says this. I'm not even being sarcastic. This isn't sarcastic clapping. I am genuinely in awe of your brilliance and your ability to do really excellent damage control. It's genuinely a skill that most of the sales companies teach their employees in their complaints department. You have it mastered. After all this, you collected $100,000 to sell people fucked up posters and postcards with the signature of a YouTuber on it, a digital download of the movie and soundtrack, some out-of-date media, and a bootleg version of your own movie, which actually breaks people's computers. But what the fuck did people pay all that money for? A Skype session with the world-famous Oliver Harper? Holy shit! Sign me up! 100 quid and up for a Skype session with the evil mastermind behind this clusterfuck of a campaign? I hope that the people that paid for this used their time with you to scream in your face for 20 minutes straight and tell you what a fucking asshole you are. And personally, I think you should have just offered people the opportunity to kick you right in the fucking balls as compensation. Actually, that's not fair. You let people choose how they got fucked over. Did they get fucked over with their Blu-ray? Did they get fucked over with their poster? Did they get fucked over with their subtitles? Or did they get fucked over with their replacement for their fucked up Blu-ray? Do I take the dick in the ass or the mouth? Such a plethora of choices. So I think in return, the least they can do for you is let you choose which foot they kick you in the fucking balls with. And you know what the saddest part about all this story is? That I feel bad that your fans were sold shitty products that didn't work. And if it sounds like I'm a little pissed off, it's because every time a YouTuber utilizes their relationship with their audience to acquire money for a product that doesn't yet exist, I get a little mad. Because they're exploiting that relationship between creator and viewer, that implicit trust and like that there is between creator and audience. You're exploiting that trust. How about you fund the fucking project with your own fucking money? And then if the project is a complete disaster, you're the person left holding a flaming bag of dog shit, and not the kind people who generously put you where you are today. Now, I'm sure that there's some people just sitting there at their keyboard right now, waiting to furiously tap on the keyboard and tell me that these were all adults and they chose to open their wallet to Oliver Harper. They chose to back this project of their own free will and volition. No, they didn't. You see, when you promise someone a product in return for money and then deliver a completely different product instead, you rob them of their ability to choose because they don't actually know what they're buying. You turn the whole thing into a game of deal or no deal with your fans, except you filled every box with hot dog shit. So these are your fans. They kindly handed over their hard-earned cash in good faith, and you lied to them about what product they would receive. Twice! I feel like this is a good time to say that I did reach out to a couple of Ollie's customers, and I did lurk in some message boards and in some online forums where people had been complaining about these things to see if he eventually did resolve this issue. In fairness, a few people did report that they did receive a working disc. It still wasn't the official Blu-ray that they were originally advertised, but it at least worked, so they could actually watch the fucking movie they paid for. Some got working bootlegs for their trouble. Other people, they just gave up. Quid's in for you, Ollie. Any one of the following things would have been an acceptable way to treat your fans. Number 1, tell people at the start, when you're asking for their money, that they would be getting a cheap Chinese BDR disc and not an official Blu-ray. Because again, let me remind you, this is what you advertised when you asked them for money. And this is what you gave them after you had collected that money. B, you could actually send out the Blu-rays that you originally advertised. Or 3, you can use Chinese knockoff discs if you want to. And then when people complain that the disc doesn't work, you send out an official Blu-ray. I'm being extremely kind on that last one because that's still shitty. But at least it fixes the issue and it leaves the customer happy. Any one of these things would have prevented this video from ever happening. The wrong thing to do is to collect money from people under the pretense of one standard of product and then deliver something that is completely 100% below the standard that you advertised. What you don't do is then give people the exact same shit they just said was broken and tell them no refunds. What you don't do is shift all the complaints to an external website where no one can see it and where the process is confusing as shit for all the people that are actually trying to just get a resolution on the thing that they actually gave you money for. Well, that's it for this video. I imagine that some of Ollie's fans are going to hit the comments section to tell me what a flaming gaylord I am, and that I'm only making this video to cash in on Ollie's wonderful image and reputation. And you know what? That's fine. Because unlike Ollie, if you want to complain, I'll actually listen to you. I appreciate you all taking the time to watch this video. It means a lot to me that people keep continuously coming back and coming back and coming back. I can't tell you how flattering it is that so many people tell me that they enjoy what I do. Hopefully you enjoy this video too. I know that this is a bit of a departure from what I normally do, but I actually do feel very strongly about YouTubers in particular ripping off their fans. So this might not even be the last time you see a video about this subject.